Welcome to the Checkable Health Podcast, where we're helping everyday moms rethink how their healthcare starts at home for themselves and their families. This podcast is for moms of school-aged children born in the 1900s that would buy an at-home strep test to check their child's sore throat symptoms from home. Hi, I'm Patty Post, your host. I'm founder and CEO of Checkable Health. I'm a mother of two amazing teenage sons and one tween daughter. And I'm wife to Andrew, and we've been married almost 20 years. I believe that we all should be empowered to make clinical evidence-based decisions from the settings of home. I believe that we should be empowered to make healthcare decisions from home. And this podcast will equip you to make better health decisions for you and your family from home. I'm interviewing clinicians, thought leaders, and experts in the field of health, so you are educated and equipped to live a healthier, better life. Today, my topic is on menopause and products that will help women that are going through menopause. This product is universal because it can also be used in sports injuries. My guest is Tammy Lee, who is founder of Opal Cool and Onyx Cool. Opal Cool is focused on women's health and to help with symptoms of hot flashes, help with hot flashes if a woman is going through MS or has undergone chemotherapy, has really a surge of heat in her body, mainly from hormones that are being depleted through the therapy or through going through the cycle of life, which we call menopause. This also can be used for men. She actually pointed out a very interesting fact that men going through prostate cancer therapy can have a depletion of hormones and have hot flashes as well. So what Tammy's products are really temperature monitoring products that they're not connected to anything. They keep a consistent temperature, and you put them in the refrigerator, and for 20 minutes, they will come out at that same temperature of the refrigerator, and they'll maintain their temperature for a longer period of time than ice. And most importantly, it will be a temperature that you can apply directly onto your skin. So it is very safe. She actually has clinical data on both products. The Onyx products are used, like I said, for sports injuries, back, shoulders, knees. I actually used them for in my family. I gave them as gifts last year to my family members, and it's just a great product to have in your house all the time instead of monkeying with the ice and the water. And there's some new technologies out there that I don't think are very effective, but they're very expensive. So we talk a lot about these different types of therapies, and I think that when we go transition in life with menopause, a lot of times we don't make anyone aware of it. It can be a little bit of a stigma. I'm very thankful that there's things like World Menopause Days, and there's a lot more research coming out and a lot more awareness around that menopause isn't just like a day or a month. It actually is a season of life that women go through. And Tammy is very passionate about that. And her products are mainstream. Really encourage you to check her products out. We'll give all of that information. But she's a great founder and very passionate about her products. And with that, let's get into it with Tammy Lee. Tammy, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me on, Patty.
It is really interesting because we started about the same time in our businesses. And I just think of what you're doing in terms of therapy and almost like an overlooked. I sort of think that both of the things that we're doing are sometimes overlooked because it's not like that class 3 medical device. But I think it's really cool that what you have is really clinically backed. And would you please tell us what Onyx Cool is and what Opal Cool is and how you're helping us as therapy seekers?
Oh, well, thank you, Patty. Well, I'll start with Onyx Cool since you led with that. Onyx Cool products are a cooling technology. We call them wearable therapies, as you mentioned, and they're made with a plant-based cooling technology. And we make all of our products down in Red Wing, Minnesota. So everything's manufactured here in Minnesota in the USA at a woman-owned company. So I'm pretty proud of that too. But the Onyx Cool therapy products are designed for injury repair and recovery. So if you've had a knee surgery or a knee injury, we have the Onyx Cool knee. We've got a shoulder product. We've got a back hip product. And then we also have moved into the heat stress and heat safety line of products with cooling vests. On our Opal side of the house, same technology made with a plant-based cooling technology, but we really have women's health in mind with those products. So we make a cooling wrap for women who are experiencing menopausal hot flashes that's been clinically tested, and women who wore the wrap an hour in the morning and an hour at night had about a 75% reduction in the number of hot flashes. So it works. And we also did a clinical study with the cool wrap for women who are living with MS, multiple sclerosis. And the women who were in the clinical study for MS also had excellent results in treating their symptoms of MS. Also in the women's health line, we make a very fun product, one of my favorites, called the Gal Pals. These are cooling bra inserts, and so they're great for everyone from new breastfeeding moms that are experiencing that breast pain that you have when you have a new baby, to women who are recovering from a surgery, in the case of a mastectomy, for example. So these products work for everything from breast care to workout wear. So you can put them in after workout to cool down. So all of our products have one thing in common. They're wearable therapies made with a plant-based technology, all made in Red Wing, Minnesota.
Wow. I like it that it's women owned as well. Congratulations on that. What's interesting about these products is you don't need to put them in the freezer to make them cold. So can you tell us about that? Because that almost seems like contradictory to what we think for therapies.
Yeah, so most cool therapies, you're right, go in the freezer. And the danger of those kinds of products that are an ice-based product or a gel-based product is that they're really dangerously cold. So when it comes out of the freezer, of course, it's at freezing temperature. So those products, if they're left on too long, can cause ice burn or frostbite. And that's why with ice, you have to have a layer of something in between it, like a towel or a washcloth, and you have to cycle them on and off every 20 minutes. With our products, they're made with a plant-based cooling technology that goes in the refrigerator. So they come out at whatever your refrigerator is set to. Most people have it around, 40 degrees, 42 degrees. So it's really comfortably cool, but not freezing cold. So safe to wear directly on the skin without any risk of ice burn or frostbite. And they'll cool in the refrigerator in about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on the coolness of your fridge as well as the size of the device.
Interesting. So you said that you have the clinical data. A lot of times to design a clinical study like this, it can be very overwhelming for someone, but they know that they want to make specific claims. Can you share with us the clinical study and how that was designed and then the results of that study or of these studies? You have multiple.
Right. Yeah. So with the Cool Wrap, the clinical study was conducted by Inglewood Hospital, and they have a Center for Integrative Health and Medicine, and so they're really into natural alternatives to hormone replacement therapy. For example, women that have hormone replacement therapy are at a higher risk for heart disease, stroke, and other issues. So everybody's looking for kind of drug-free therapies. So we did a clinical study with the Cool Wrap. About 50 women were in the study. And after using the Cool Wrap for 4 weeks, you wear it an hour in the morning and an hour at night. What the product does is it actually builds up the resiliency of your brown adipose tissue. So the study is based on BAT tissue, brown adipose tissue. And when we're babies, we have BAT, those healthy brown fat cells all over our bodies that keep us healthy and warm. As we get older, those cells really shrink and diminish. So this technology is really about building up the resiliency of those cells, and the product is designed accordingly. This big circle will kind of land in the middle of your back, and we still have BAT here between our shoulders, and that's actually the spot where that thermogenic hot flash originates. So by building up the resiliency of those cells with cool therapy, it actually counteracts the hot flash. So that's the science behind it. Very simple science, but proven technology without any need for hormone replacement therapy or other drugs. So that was one study. The other study that we conducted with St. Catherine's University. And they had about 150 women living with multiple sclerosis in the study. And the women that were using the Cool Wrap, 75% of the women in the study reported good to excellent results in treating their symptoms of MS. So using Cool therapy for MS is well documented as a way to alleviate those symptoms. So we took a technology that has been around for a long time, phase change material, and then really just went out to get some data-backed science to be able to take these into women's health.
And do they wear them directly on your skin, or do you need to have a barrier?
You can wear them directly on the skin. It kind of depends on the use. So a lot of women will wear them over a light, like a tank top or a light t-shirt, but you can wear it directly on the skin as well. Most women are using it like in the morning or night when they're getting ready in the morning before going to work or starting their day, or when they get home at night as they're kind of unwinding, preparing dinner, or whatever it may be. So you don't have to have this on during an actual hot flash. The science is actually building up the resiliency of these cells that are here and at the base of your neck to kind of counteract that hot flash. And with MS, the science is cooling the core to help you have more energy, to help you sleep better at night, and to help alleviate some of those symptoms.
Wow. Now, because hot flashes really are, now that I'm moving into perimenopause, I'm much more aware of when women are having a hot flash, or they're like, oh, I just had a hot flash. Where before I would be like, whoa, what's wrong with her? Her face is getting red and she's hot. Or I remember my mom like distinctly, because my mom had me when she was 40. So she's, I'm 10 and she's going through these hot flashes and, stepping outside to go on the deck at a party because she was like flaming. There's how many women right now are in the stage of menopause right now?
Yeah, so every day in the U.S. alone, 5,000 women enter menopause. So right now, there are about 1 million women in the U.S. that are living with menopausal symptoms. And the average age that you hit menopause is 51. That's the average age for beginning menopause. And the clinical definition of menopause is really 1 full year of not having a menstrual cycle. So if you're on month 13 without having had a menstrual cycle, you're officially in menopause. And those symptoms can last anywhere from 2 years to 10 years. Some women are more fortunate than others that are living much longer with what they call their own personal summer all the time.
Renita Das was a guest, and she's a thought leader in women's health for 30 years. And she talked about, she hates the word menopause because it's actually not a pause. It's a season of life that we have as women, and it's underfunded, it's under-researched, and there's really a lack of products in the market to help us deal with the symptoms and even help recognize the signs. So what are you doing with Opal Cool products? Who are you targeting, and how are you bringing awareness to your products to the market?
Yeah, well, we really build and design Opal Cool products with women in mind. And we talk about it for every age and stage of life. And so for everyone from breastfeeding moms through menopause, our products can help you live a happier, healthier, fuller life. So we talk a lot about menopause and trying to help remove the taboo of menopause. It's not the end of your life. It just means a new stage of your life. And you want to live that new stage of life to its fullest potential. But when you're suffering from a hot flash, when your makeup is melting off your face or your face is inflamed, it's embarrassing for women. So you think about it in the workplace too. There's some really interesting statistics about how much menopause costs us in the workplace. And it's by not being open about it or providing solutions or support for women. So I think the first step, Patty, is really about having an open, frank conversation, which is what we're doing here today.
Are you utilizing any health insurance? Like say someone is listening to this and they have a HSA. Could they use their HSA spending account to buy Opal Cool products?
Yeah, that's a great question. In fact, the answer is a resounding yes. All of our products are Class 1 registered medical products. So whether it's Opal Cool or Onyx Cool, we can take HSA and FSA credit cards. So a lot of people do use their flex spend dollars to purchase our products. And especially at the end of the year when people are really looking
Yeah.
for ways to spend their money in a way that's really going to benefit their health, instead of having, 13 bottles of contact solution, you might rather have an Opal or Onyx Cool product.
I can see this being really useful if you have like a little mini fridge in your office. Like have those readily available, and even you talked about new breastfeeding moms. I remember when I was breastfeeding and I was working and I was actually weaning off of nursing, and it was so painful and hard for me. And I was on the phone and there's just so much going on. If I could have just had a product that was safe and effective that I could use, that would have been very helpful.
Yeah, so we make these products, these Gal Pals, are flexible cooling bra inserts. We make them in two temperatures. This temperature goes in the refrigerator and it's ready to go in about 20 minutes. We also make it in a different color and a different temperature. This product recools at room temperature. So if you're carrying your breast pumping bag around with you or a diaper bag, these will recool at any room temperature below 80 degrees. So these are kind of always ready to go. But you mentioned if you have a mini fridge, or if you're, taking like a little lunch to work and you've got an ice pack in there, these will cool in a lunch box, a cooler, a mini fridge, or even in your car in your air conditioning vents. If you tuck them in there, these will go back
Oh
to
my,
cool state too.
that is brilliant actually, because I used to have to pump in my car because
Right.
I was a rep. Um, I just met the founder of Willow, the discreet breast pump, and she was great, very much like you. But I was saying that having the little cooler, because you would pump and then you'd have to have your cooler, so you could keep these in your cooler and then
Mm-hmm.
have your discreet breast pumps. You could just have it. It's like if I would have had this 16 years ago, holy cow, I would be
Right.
I'd be so efficient and feel so much better. That's like you really are bringing life back to women in stages of life where there's so much uncertainty and it's so hard to navigate.
Yeah, and women just need every tool we have to make ourselves feel as, our best and most beautiful and healthiest.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
these products are really designed with women's health in mind. And that's why I just am so proud of the Opal brand. And Opal as a stone is symbolic of health and healing and resiliency. So there's a lot of good meaning behind the Opal name too.
Oh, that's beautiful. So you've been on the market for a couple of years now. I'd love to hear what your customers have to say about the products, both Onyx and Opal.
We just get a really good response from people who have used the product. They are our best marketers, our best word of mouth. We've also been really fortunate about getting some really nice national appearances like Good Morning America, The View. We've been on QVC, and so that's really helped us spread the word as well. Along with conversations like this, like with you, Patty, and helping other women know what's out there for them. And so we launched right before COVID, which was a really hard time to launch a new product. But we, like the name Opal, are still resilient and thriving and continuing to grow the company and grow the brand and look for new avenues to take the product to market.
And are you a digital only company, or are you at physical retailers right now?
We are at one physical retail location. During COVID, we were primarily focused on digital and online sales. So we're in the places that you can imagine, like Amazon and Walmart.com. But the places that I'm most excited about where our products are now coming online are places like there's a new website called My Power Pack, which is kind of like Caring Bridge for people that are experiencing a health crisis. And we're in their healthcare marketplace. And so 40% of the sales of our product go back to support My Power Pack. So finding venues like that that align with my personal mission and values, but also get our products to the people that need them, are what really make me feel the most fulfilled as we're trying to share these products for women's health.
Wow, I haven't heard of that before. My Power Pack.
MyPowerPack.com. And I think Caring Bridge is going to be getting into that space as well. They do have some products in a marketplace, but finding venues like that to support women and men, our Onyx products are on there as well for people that have had a knee surgery or hip surgery. And another little known fact is that women that are going through breast cancer also end up in chemo-induced menopause. So as you're battling breast cancer, you often have a double whammy. So we donate a lot of our wraps to breast cancer survivors too. And men who have prostate cancer get hot flashes as well. That's something that people also don't know about. So we've got a cooling vest that men can use for their symptoms of hot flashes as well.
Oh, that's interesting. I would assume it's the hormones that leaving your body, or the depletion of hormones.
Yeah, it's the kind of the chemotherapy in the surgical and chemo-induced menopause that happens to people as they're battling breast cancer. Sorry, I just had something in my throat.
It's that time of year. We're getting nice and dry with moving into winter, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So when I actually purchased a bunch of the Onyx Cool products for my father-in-law, my father, and my husband for Christmas last year. And they were absolutely fantastic gifts, because it's consistently that when they go to find something, that it's not messy. It's very easy to get cold. But then I feel like it sustains the cool longer. Is there some science that it stays cooler longer?
It does, and it maintains the constant temperature. So the products that come out of the refrigerator that don't have to go in the freezer, they'll maintain that constant 58 degrees, which is safe to wear directly on the skin. And most of our products, like the knee product, the shoulder product, the back hip product, those will stay cold for about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, and at that constant 58 degrees, which is why they actually help people heal faster, because you're getting that constant cooling, but something that's not dangerously cold. So yes, they do last longer than typical gel and ice products, but most importantly, they're safe and soothing. So patient compliance goes up because people actually like to use them, which means because they're doing the cool therapy as it's intended, they're actually going to heal faster and get back in the game.
Are you working with any health systems by any chance? Or like when I go to a hospital and what is that called? Like the boutique that's in the hospital?
Yeah, the gift shop.
Yeah, the gift shop.
We actually haven't gotten into those yet. Mostly it was a function of timing with COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Hospitals weren't taking any new products in at the time, which is why we really started building the business around consumer direct. But that's a next area for us. We sell into some hospitals, like Inglewood Hospital, for example. They order cases of each of the products every week, and they give them to patients after a surgery, because what they found is patients would heal faster. They did a study comparing the Onyx Cool knee using our plant-based cooling phase change material to a circulating water device, which I think you're familiar with those as well. And their HCAP scores, which is their patient satisfaction scores, increased from 63% to 94% post-surgery. The amount of pain medication that was used by the patient post-op went down dramatically, and they healed faster because of compliance. So if patients like a product, if they feel comfortable using it, they're going to heal much faster. And so once we get into a hospital system, we find that they order case after case. But it's just breaking through those first doors. And you know, that was a challenge during COVID. A new area that we're excited to be moving into, and I haven't even launched the site yet, we're going to be moving our products into school and healthcare fundraising. Because most of the school fundraisers that you see are really unhealthy. They're cookie dough, you know, they're candy, they're pizzas. And so there's really no health and wellness products in the sports fundraising arena. And every year in the US, $1.5 billion worth of product are sold for school fundraisers. So we're going to create a new fundraising platform to help schools raise money and share the profits with them by using our products. So you can imagine little league teams, basketball teams, lacrosse teams, cheerleading squads. I mean, this is going to be our brand new business strategy, a brand new place for us to bring our products to market, and in an area that nobody else is doing health and wellness. Similarly, we want to create these products for women, for breast cancer survivors, as I mentioned, for MS, and really focus on health verticals as well to help people that want to support women that are experiencing a health crisis.
Well, I have two teams that we're looking actually for fundraising opportunities for lacrosse and for soccer. And we would be a great market to start in. So I could be one of your first takers, Tammy, on that. That is absolutely brilliant.
I would love that, Patty. I would love to do that with you. It would be
It's
fantastic.
I love how you said that about wellness and then recover faster. And if we think of if we think of mental health that comes with an injury or comes with post-surgical or even post-diagnosis, if there
Mm-hmm.
are forms of wellness therapy that can help you manage your care independently, those are all things that I think we should spend money on personally, because that's like, I think the hardest thing with direct to consumer is getting people to open their wallets. But your messaging right there just really hits home to me, because we want to feel better faster. And that's what your
Mm-hmm.
products allow us to do, or manage our care at home.
Right. And I think my goal is to kind of create a whole new fundraising platform. And you have a lot of products at Checkable Medical that might also fit well on a platform like this. So looking for
Yeah.
partners like you that also have things that moms and dads and grandpas and grandmas are all looking for, that help
Mm-hmm.
them stay healthy or help them get back to better health again.
That is so smart. I mean, we're launching 5 diagnostics in the first quarter. We could put diagnostics on there. We
Mm-hmm.
could put our supplements on
We could
there.
put your supplement line. Absolutely. I was just thinking
Right.
about that, to build it out as a platform that gives people a range of choices.
Mm-hmm. Rather than like you said, chocolate chip cookies or
Hmm.
candy that I mean, I love to have them, but I don't need them, right? I don't need to spend $100. That's what I just bought, is $100
Right.
worth of chocolate chip, different kinds of cookie dough that's going to be sitting in my freezer for, well, actually, with the boys, they'll go quite fast, but I would rather get a couple of a couple of wellness products over that. That is really brilliant. So,
Well,
how
thank you.
far are you along with that?
Well, I just kind of came up with this over the weekend, so now I'm looking at a web developer to build the portal. I'm having a couple conversations about that. So that's what's great about these kinds of conversations and how women entrepreneurs work in general. One spark can lead to a forest fire of opportunity, as I think
Yeah.
about it, about how we work together and help each other build our brands and build our business, but also do something that's going to help a lot of people live better lives.
Gosh, you're such an entrepreneur. You literally just thought of it over the weekend and it's Monday and you're on it. Like,
Well,
people
that's what
think maybe we're talking on a Friday. No, it's Monday morning at 11:30 right now. That's awesome. Do you think that that's a big market opportunity? What do you say, 1.5 billion is?
1.5 billion in the US alone product sales for school fundraisers. And that's just school fundraisers. That doesn't count all of the money that people raise for breast cancer survivors, for Susan G. Komen, for Hope Chest for breast cancer, for the Firefly Sisterhood. All of
Mhm.
these are partners that I've worked with in the past that I want to create a fundraising machine to help them do their good.
Mhm.
And in the meantime, and share the profits with them. I mean, that the reason I'm in business is because I want to make money to do good in the world. I don't need 3 beautiful homes. I don't
Mhm.
need many more clothes. I just
Mhm.
want to be able to use kind of consumerism as a force for good. And we've got great products that can help people lead better lives. So yeah, this is the next evolution of Opal and Onyx Cool.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, we definitely have to have a happy hour to talk more about this. I'm glad you brought that up. Um, let's talk about when you started this, Tammy, what you really inherited as the business, and you being a visionary, how you brought the business from where it was to where it is today. Can you frame that picture? We're going to now move over to the Persevere podcast side of the conversation, and just kind of paint that picture for everyone of where you started.
Yeah, well, I was actually hired into a company that was making products using a plant-based phage. Actually, they weren't using plant-based; they were using a petroleum-based product. But they really didn't have, I think, the quality of products or the array of products that we saw that there was a market opportunity for. And they also weren't putting the money and investment in. So we parted ways with that company and launched on our own, developed a whole new product line, really with the women's health focus in mind, and then really improved upon the design for the Onyx products for sports medicine and orthopedic injuries. And with those, we really tried to move more into the category of wearable therapies. And so there have been a lot of people that have made products using this, but just not at the quality or really in the spaces where I think people can really benefit the most from them. So launched the company on my own with another partner and a great team of people in Red Wing right before COVID. So we started manufacturing in February of 2020 and shut down in March, like the rest of the world did. And so here we are 2.5 years later, still persevering, but growing into new channel opportunities. And that's what's really exciting. The technology is phenomenal, safer than ice, long lasting. People like it. So now we just have to get the word out to the rest of the world and see what good we can do.
Mm-hmm. So did you inherit the manufacturing, or did you have to replicate that manufacturing?
Yeah, we started up a completely new plant,
Okay.
brand new manufacturing plant. So within 6 weeks, we stood up a manufacturing plant in Red Wing, got in all of the equipment we needed, had a team of 10 employees in place, and figured out kind of new designs, bought new tooling. And so, yeah, we started a plant from scratch, and that's an interesting process too. I mean, all of us that are entrepreneurs, my background is not in manufacturing. In fact, my parents, when I was growing up said, work really hard, get a college education so you don't end up working in a factory. Well, I worked really hard. I got a college education and an MBA, and I work in a factory now. But the difference is it's our factory, which is a great place to be. So as an entrepreneur, you learn a lot, you figure things out. And I think you and I both have a curiosity that I think comes out of, journalism backgrounds and that natural curiosity to want to learn about things. And it's amazing the number of former journalists that are actually entrepreneurs. So that's another kind of thing we have in common.
Isn't that interesting? You're absolutely right. I've put that two and two together as well, that is it that we're a little fearless too, like we're fearless and risk takers, but I'm curious that let's just keep going, and if we don't get the answer, we feel like, okay, it's down there, let's just keep going. I'm going to get that answer.
Yeah, I think it is that natural curiosity and the desire to learn more. To never be bored or stop taking on new challenges, I think is why a lot of people that come out of journalism or communications backgrounds end up as entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think how we benefit from that background is we have a natural ability to tell a story, and selling products is nothing more than storytelling. Raising capital, which you've done, Patty, and I've done as well, is about telling a compelling story. So having that background in journalism, I think, is a natural pathway for entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm. So I was really interested when you first took the leap for QVC, something that it's like you would think there would be a ton of entrepreneurs that have done it because they're like running specials all the time, but it's actually very few and it's highly competitive. Would you tell us about that process of getting onto QVC and why you chose to do it?
Yeah, it's highly competitive, and I will tell you, the margins aren't great either. So it depends on what your product is and whether or not it's a fit for QVC. Now, we went on with the shoulder product, and because it can be used 7 different ways. But what I really wanted to go on with were the gal pals or the cool wrap for menopause, because QVC's audience, it's she. She is buying things, and she is a woman in her 50s or 60s with a credit card, probably with menopausal hot flashes. But the challenge of getting on QVC is you're pitching to a buyer that's like 26 or 28 years old who has no idea what menopausal hot flashes are.
Mm-hmm,
So I
mm-hmm,
think I would say QVC can be a cautionary tale because you have
mm-hmm.
to have 1,500 units ready to go. And if
Wow.
they don't sell them, they're coming back to you. So
Yeah.
it's high risk if you've got and our products our shoulder retails at 139, and I think on QVC it was around 89. That's a higher
Ooh,
price point than the typical QVC customer. So you
yeah.
really have to think about whether your product is in alignment with them. Gal Pals, I think, are the perfect QVC kind of product. iMass, also perfect for QVC. Maybe a bundle with a cool wrap and Gal Pals. But I think it's you really have to think about whether your product is a good fit for them. And
Mm-hmm,
for me, I don't know that I wouldn't do Onyx again on QVC, but it was a great experience to learn how to get products on there. And
mm-hmm,
down the road, I might reconsider it with some of our other product lines.
mm-hmm. Did you do the on air yourself?
Yeah, so it was during COVID. So I was paired with a host who was in the studio, and I was in a kitchen that's larger than this one with a studio
Mhm.
setup. And we did the pitch together, so we were live together for, I think, 10 or 12 minutes of time on QVC.
Very cool. Were you nervous?
No, when again, an advantage of coming out of a journalism or TV background,
Mm-hmm.
it's the two of us were having a conversation about our products and the features and benefits. So I wasn't nervous, but they also have you go through it. You have to go through host training and get certified
Mm-hmm.
before you can go on the air too.
Oh, that's interesting. And
Mm-hmm.
what's that prep like?
It's a couple hours of
Hmm.
live Zoom with their kind of talent coaches and telling your story and making sure your pitch is down and learning all the words that you cannot say because you
Mhm.
can't make any health claims. And it's really difficult to not make health or medical claims when that's the basis for everything in your product. So
Right.
you
Even
learn,
you have
yeah,
data though. Why can't you make any claims?
you can't. I mean, they won't. Their lawyers are really stringent.
Hmm.
So we talk about pain relief, pain management, how our products help cool at 58 degrees, which there's no risk of ice burn or frostbite. So we have to talk in a circle around all of the things that our product does, which tell the health story without making claims. So
Hmm.
like I said, it's an
Wow.
interesting journey, and if anybody ever wants to get on QVC, I'm happy to help them decide if that's right for them.
That's kind of like Amazon when people, like I just saw this guy talking about just buy some product on Alibaba and then have it shipped to the Amazon fulfillment, throw your listings up on Amazon and look, you can like have a $500,000 of revenue in a year. And I commented, I'm like, okay, you could have a $500,000 of revenue, but then how much did you spend on your ads to get that? Because
Mm-hmm.
my guess is you probably spent 1 million on ads in order to get a $500,000 of revenue because
Yeah, that's what
it's
people don't
very
realize
hard.
about those kinds of platforms. And we're on Amazon, but our products are so new and it's a technology that people don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't sell a lot on Amazon, but I'm also not buying up into the ad box either.
Mm-hmm.
With some products, I think that could make sense, but it's
Mm-hmm.
you kind of have to be on there, but it's not the main focus for our product.
Mm-hmm.
Same with
Yeah.
Walmart. And again, if you're not buying, spending on ads and getting your way into the buy box, or you need to have a certain number of videos too. I mean, there are all of these algorithms that make or break your success on Amazon. So while Amazon may seem like an easy way to make money, as you and I both know, there's a lot more to it than just putting a listing up.
Yeah. There's no easy way of making money. There's just not like that. It's like, how often do you stumble across $100 bill on the ground? You probably never have, right? Like,
Right.
there's a reason for that.
Yep.
So we're just getting into the busiest season for direct to consumer. And I'm curious how you are planning to make this a really successful season and what kind of planning are you doing with your team and just share with us some of those things you're doing.
Yeah, we will do some more appearances. We're on a TV campaign this week on another show. We're in a holiday gift guide with both Opal and
Cool.
Onyx, the 40 boxes holiday gift guide, and some of the online promos that we've found through Good Morning America, The View, or others. or this 40 boxes have been incredibly fruitful and successful for us. So I think it's finding some of those platforms where there's already eyeballs and not trying to buy enough keywords that you can buy your way in.
Yeah.
That's what we're really focused this holiday season on. Who are other partners that already have market share that we should be doing promotions with? And we've tried some things too where we have used our email database to promote other products. This is a product that we love, and there's a company called May We Care, which has adaptive clothing for people that have had surgeries. And so we did a joint email blast with them for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So here's their product. You can save 15%. Here's our cool wrap and our Gal Pals. You can save 15%. We both sent it out to our databases. So finding other partners, like you and I were talking about earlier, how do we use the assets that we have to build each other's brands? And I think women are always thinking really creatively about that. And I'd love to hear what you're doing for the holiday season. What are you doing, Patty, to build your brand and get it out into the busiest shopping season?
We're doing some local things. Like we were just down in Miami at there's about 3,500 women that attended a Halloween event with their kids. And so we were there handing out our flyers because we have a clinical site in Miami, but then we had a code. We had a code on the other side for the supplements. And then we have a few things around the country that we're going to do the same, just more of like the local face-to-face. I feel like that has a much, like you were saying, the clicks, like buy the clicks. We can buy as many clicks as we want, but at the end of the day, if someone meets someone from the company, a brand ambassador, or meets you or meets me, then they're much more likely to go to your Facebook page or follow you or sign up for your newsletter, because I think that they want to know the brand on a personal level. And that's where I think digital marketing is totally lost, right? It's just very impersonal. So we're doing some of that. And then on the gift buying season, we're honestly launching our 5 supplements and then telemedicine the first quarter and running the clinical trial. So from the like holiday specials with Amazon and then doing podcasts like this, getting out there and saying, hey, if you have a product that you would like to share with your family as a gift, buy them a 2-pack of melatonin. Like, what a great gift. Who needs something? It's better sleep. Everyone needs better sleep, right? So those are the things that we're doing. I'm trying not to spend a whole bunch of money on the digital campaigns right now. I wish that we would have gotten sooner on those gift buying things, because from my experience, it's more like second quarter time frame that they're putting those gift ideas together. Have you found that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I'd say, well, second or third, a lot of these gift guides are coming together in August, August, September. But most of the decisions are made by early August.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like from a company standpoint, when you're developing products, it's very different from launching products, or very different than marketing products. And we have to focus so much on that clinical, and that getting that product through and then launching that. The marketing piece is sort of like, oh shoot, yeah, we got to do better in this marketing. But once we get through the clinical, I think it's going to fall together better. But those gift guides, I read them all the time, actually. And I think of with your product that I just interviewed a woman. Her company is Sleepy Cub, and she has consulting for sleep therapy for your babies, or even like up to 6 years old. And it takes 1 week, and then you can get your kid to sleep through the night. And she's a trained therapist. And I said to her, why aren't you marketing this for like baby showers? Like you could give this, because she does it, like a subscription base for 7 days, 2 weeks. And this is the same thing as the Gal Pals. This would be something that for a baby shower gift, we don't need another onesie. You don't need another cute outfit. This is actually something that's super practical, as well as if someone is diagnosed. like very thoughtful, intentional gift. Someone's diagnosed with cancer. Well, of course, a meal is very nice, but sometimes you wonder, like, what is it that I could give someone that they will actually use, and it's very intentional. And I think of your products as that.
Well, that's why we're so excited about places like My Power Pack, where you can
Yeah,
give somebody a meal or a gift card or a DoorDash, or you could give them a cool pad to sleep on at night or an eye mask. And I think being in places like that, where you know that you're providing a good or a service that can benefit them, I think is exactly where we want to be. And then I
mm-hmm.
think of your products, Patty, and how they fit with ours, and why we aren't putting together. We could have a whole sleep package that includes
Yeah,
her services, my cool pad, an eye mask, some melatonin. We could have the total like holiday gift bundle with our products. I mean, there
yeah.
are things that we still could do, and do it through email marketing.
Oh, that's such a great idea. We should do this, because I also have a woman that's um, she is a lactation consultant, and she's doing some work. I mean, there's so many good ideas around that. Okay, so audience, stay tuned, because you'll find something on the Checkable site for sure that we can put together that is the gift idea that's unique and
Hmm.
intentional and thoughtful. Let's do that for sure, Tammy. I love that. As
Yeah.
well as we just gave away some hand knit it was crocheted like a little bear, and then with a little hat, and that was from a to one of our, actually, what our Nate works for me, his wife started this business on Etsy. And like, well, why don't we give this away? You do such beautiful work, but it's hard. Again, it's hard to market your business when you're just a single
Hmm.
shop. Put a nail up there and hang it on the Etsy storefront. It gets very crowded.
Yeah, and that's why there's strength in numbers, and why I'm really excited about this new fundraising platform for schools and other, women's health related charities. Because I
Mm-hmm.
think that there are so many products like yours and hers and others that we've talked to, where we should create our own marketplace for women's
Mm-hmm.
health.
Mm-hmm. Uh, so quick, I want to ask you about your fundraising, because that is something that you have. I mean, how many companies have you been? We're going to put your bio on the the Persevere website, because you, of being a CEO with multiple companies, have done. I mean, I looked up to you before I founded this company as a rock star CEO. How much money have you raised? And would you just give us some of that, like, power that you have inside of you and gusto to go out and raise money? You mentioned storytelling, but I'd love to hear your perspective on how are you so good at it?
That's very kind of you to say, but really it is a story of perseverance. And when I was CEO for Combinetics, we raised 34 million for that company for their Series A. But we probably did over 70 pitches to get to that amount. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it takes a long time, as you know, Patty, because you've raised money as well. I raised money for a couple of years at the U from corporate and foundation partners, and there we were doing, I don't know, around 40 million a year. I think now that department raises over 100 million from corporations and foundations. So part of it is just building your pipeline too, and going anywhere
Mm-hmm.
and everywhere where people will tell your story. But it's just about storytelling. And I think if you can tell a compelling story and you know your numbers, I mean, it's a pretty formulaic about what has to go in a pitch deck, as you know. Everybody's looking at the total addressable market. Everybody's
Yeah.
looking at what's their differentiator. Everybody's looking at what's the return, how long before you're going to be cash flow positive.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding the numbers, but really getting people excited about what you're doing and why it's different than anybody else's, I think, why people are good at fundraising. And you're
Mm-hmm.
great at it too. You've raised a lot of money as well, Patty, and you've expanded your network. And it comes with a fearlessness of being able to do the ask, because if you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no.
Right.
And you have to have the courage to get up every day and get 10 more no's before you finally get to the big yes.
Mm-hmm. Kiss a lot of frogs.
Right. That is right.
Why do you think that women's health is underfunded? Do you feel like women's health is underfunded, under-researched, and I think it's promising, but what do you think when I say that?
Oh, I think that's well documented. I think, most of the early studies that were funded by NIH were all, more male focused. Only in the last few years have we even lifted the taboo about talking about menopause. I mean,
Yeah.
a few years ago, I remember it kind of being the year of the period, and people were talking about new products
Yeah.
for women with their periods. And the last
Mm-hmm.
couple years, there's been, I think, an avalanche of new products and services in conversation around menopause and women's health. So I feel like we are kind of busting through those taboos. But women also spend less on themselves. So
Mm-hmm.
women who are in their 50s, late 40s and 50s, where you're hitting menopause, oftentimes should have the most discretionary income, but
Mm-hmm.
they don't spend it on themselves. But for like mother baby and spending money in baby showers, mother baby in retail outsells menopause 7-1. So
Oh,
you think about
wow.
how fun it is to buy like gal pals for a baby shower or a cooling mask, but you know, people aren't sure if they should buy a cool wrap for menopause for their menopausal mom or menopausal aunt. There's still a bit of a stigma around it. So we have
Mm-hmm.
to continue to have the conversation about why this is good for women's health and how it's going to change people's lives because we're not quite there yet. And
Mm-hmm.
women also don't, get as much funding as men. And only
Mm-hmm.
2% of I think female CEO companies get funded. I mean, it's a very small and startling statistic. So we've
Mm-hmm.
got a long ways to go. But Patty, with what you're doing with Checkable Medical, you've busted through so many barriers. I hope to continue to climb over some more walls too. And we have to help other women get there too. And I'm just as committed to doing that as to making sure that my own company thrives.
Yeah, just get out there, right? We can't have our the lack of or the history impede us from going forward, and we can't rewrite history that way. We're gonna rewrite it our own way.
Yeah, right.
Successful,
We're
right?
we're creating a bright future, not worrying about the gloomy past.
Yeah. And I think bringing awareness to menopause and talking more about it is really important. And I think it's like I mean, we have half of our audience of the Persevere podcast is men, and listening to the topic of menopause. And if you are married to someone that is in menopause, I think that there's a lot of respect there. I mean, I know from other people that I'm friends with that there is respect there. But if you aren't yet to that spot, or if you look at your mom or your aunt, uh, buy them this product. I mean, how incredibly thoughtful and useful, because like you said, women aren't spending money on themselves. And we need to increase awareness of things like this, and without putting dollars towards it. And word of mouth is the best way to do that.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And we also try and get word of mouth out through product donations. We've reached out to a number of breast cancer centers and we donate our seconds to any breast cancer center that wants them so that
Oh,
we can
that's
get
so
them in the
nice.
hands of women who might not be able to afford the product. So I think there are things that we can do too to lift the taboo on things just by getting it more out into the world.
Mm-hmm. Now, last question, that if you think back of a misstep, we all take missteps in entrepreneurship, but sometimes the missteps, most of the time, the missteps teach us more than those right steps. So is there anything that comes to mind that you're like, gosh, I wish I wouldn't have done it that way, but boy, did I learn a lot. So then someone listening can be like, oh, I'm doing that, or I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I feel like, the word of COVID was about pivot.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like in the early days, because as I mentioned, we launched the company in February of 2020, right before COVID, I felt like everything we tried wasn't working. And I don't know if it was a misstep or just beating your head against the wall because you couldn't get into places.
Mm-hmm.
So I think sometimes you also just have to, if just stop doing things that aren't working.
Yeah.
Because I spent a lot of money trying to like buying keywords in the
Mm-hmm.
early days of COVID when everybody was shopping online. But if people don't know and understand your product, you can spend a lot of money on Google AdWords and keywords that aren't going to convert into sales.
Mm-hmm.
So I think sometimes it's hard to stop doing things. And
Yeah.
if I've learned one lesson through COVID that I keep learning again and again, sometimes you just have to stop something for something new to start.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been spending a lot of time trying to get into hospitals and clinics and medical centers. And I still think our products will do really well there, but it's such a long sales tail to
Yeah.
get in there
Mm.
that now I'm thinking, okay, this idea of helping schools or organizations raise money, I feel like matches with my mission and matches with a need. But I
Mm-hmm.
can't do that if I'm still trying to knock on hospital doors every day and not get through them. So I would
Mm-hmm.
say more in the category of stop so that you can start something else.
Mm-hmm. That's really good advice. Like actionable advice that you can take today if you're feeling like restless, like, oh my gosh, I have all these things going, but nothing is working.
Hmm.
Take time to be grounded, center yourself, and look at what your priorities are too.
Yeah, and I think just as a way of how you reset, this idea for this really focusing on, school and, women's health fundraisers came because I had time to like pause this week and it was a women's retreat. And you and I have done a women's retreat
Mm-hmm.
together.
Mm-hmm.
And the flashes of brilliance always come out of those weekends. And when I was going, I thought, I don't have time to do this. I have so much that I need to do. And I
Mm-hmm.
almost, didn't want to go, but I'm always so glad when I do it. And I feel like that's also part of it, that a big misstep we all do as women is just keep trying to plow through. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to stop and reset and find a circle of women friends who can help you get back on track again.
Mm-hmm. Did you go to Waverly?
No,
No.
actually, I sold that retreat center, so I no
Oh, you
longer own
did.
Waverly. But I went to Kohler, Wisconsin, with a group of women who are in WPO with me, the Women Presidents Organization, and we went to the American Club in Kohler, and it's a beautiful spa, golf courses, places to hike, and a lot of time to reflect.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to go to some fancy resort to achieve what you need to. You can do it at
Mm-hmm.
a friend's house with, 4 or 6 other people. But I
Mm-hmm.
think the best, if I could prescribe anything to women entrepreneurs, especially women in healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
stop. Your best prescription is going to be getting around your circle of women and asking them to kind of help you think through what's next.
That's such good advice. I'm proud of you. That's a really big aha to come out of a retreat like that.
Well, thank you. It's the power of other women helping lift you and your business up.
So cool. Well, how can everyone find you and get on some of these newsletters that you're sending out and follow you on social?
Yeah, so our women's health website is opalcool.com. And our sports medicine and orthopedic injury website is onyxcool.com. Opal and onyx are the two stones. Onyx is black. All of those products are black. And opal is the healing stone of health and resilience, which fits very well with this podcast. So those are our two websites. And coming soon, we'll have a website focused on how we can help schools and healthcare related organizations raise funds for their causes, for research, and for the people that need their services.
That's amazing. So we'll have to have you on when you launch that so you can share with everyone about that new exciting venture.
Well, maybe we'll be launching that together, Patty. So we'll stay in touch about that and more to come.
I love it. Tammy Lee, it was so wonderful to talk to you. Thank you so much for giving your time to our audience, and all the best with this holiday season of 2022.
And same to you, Patty. Thanks for having me on the show. You too inspire me and so many other women. So it's always a pleasure to spend the time with you.
Thank you. Oh, there's such a great episode. If you couldn't tell, Tammy and I are very good friends. She, as I said, has been a mentor to me and an inspiration. And I'm so proud of her, of what she's accomplished in her career. Very approachable as well. So I really encourage you to take a look at her products on her websites. And like I said, they are great products for gifts. At Checkable, we will be distributing her products on our website. From this podcast, we actually thought of some different ways that we can collaborate, which I'm I'm really thankful for. It's actually the reason why I started this podcast was what are other opportunities that I can meet amazing people, share their stories, as well as let's learn about health and how can we get this information to our customers so they can thrive in life. And I really believe that her products are so high quality, made in the USA. You're supporting not just one founder, but she has, as she stated, an entire team, and you will feel confident because it is research backed, which is something that is very hard to do in this space of health and wellness. Not a lot of people do it. It is an investment, and you do need to have the best and the brightest on your team in order to gather that data and compile it, and then also put it in a presentable fashion so you would feel confident giving that product as a gift. I love those gal pals. If you have a new mom, or if you have a woman that is going through breast cancer, or if you have a woman in your life that's going through menopause, what a great, thoughtful gift to get her the gal pals. If you would like to know more about our community, we are community driven, customer first. We do have a Facebook page, and it's Hero Moms Group. I encourage you to get on there and participate with our community. It's a group of moms with school age children, and we talk about mom stuff, health. We also have a newsletter that if you go to our website, checkablehealth.com, sign up for a newsletter, and we have coupons for our supplements, and then also lots of great information like information about menopause to features of our past guests on the Checkable Health podcast. Follow us on @Checkable Health at any of the social channels. And if you have a guest that you think would really bring a lot of value to our listeners in the health and wellness area, please encourage you to send me a message. I'd love to interview them. In our next segment, we are going to talk a lot about women and hormones. There's a lot of talk. If you go on TikTok, there are women that are just everyday women talking about how they've been misdiagnosed or how they weren't diagnosed at all and experiencing the symptoms, and they were able to get their arms around their hormones and how their life has changed. So I'm dedicating a number of episodes to that leading up into 2023. And then we're going to talk about, how to set those wellness goals for your life and how to not only just set them, but then how to incorporate them into your life so we can consistently, achieve our goals and not feel bad about it. So with that, thank you so much for being a listener. Please give us 5 stars. We really appreciate that. And until next time, I hope you feel empowered to take your health on at home and thrive in your life for yourself and your families.